My name is Video Bob, and I build time machines. It's not something I think I'm that proud of that I would tell people I'm an expert in Back to the Future, but it's what's happened. I've spent 5 years of my life studying this movie, studying this car, studying these parts, and because of this obsession, it became an obsessive compulsive, really. In the process of doing that, I can tell you every nut and bolt on that car.
Ooh, I'm Gary Weaver II. I build DeLorean time machines and have a website devoted to guys, this is crazy to me, that also build DeLorean time machines.
Basically, the moment that engine started up and that car pulled out of the truck, it's just like anybody else. Whatever happened at that moment that hit all of us, it hit me too.
Yeah.
And
it's that same reaction.
From that
you see the
moment
Star
on,
Destroyer going over the camera in Star Wars, you just go, and all of a sudden you're just in it. You know.
I had never seen Star Wars, so this was the thing for me. It's hard to put a price tag on it. I would be uncomfortable saying what this one cost us, but I do know that they are a lot.
And I'm hoping that maybe his next project would be our dream house. And maybe that would be it.
I'm Bob Gale. I wrote and produced the Back to the Future movies. I'm flattered by the fact that people go out there and want to build a DeLorean time machine, that the movie meant so much to them that they want to kind of recapture it and be the cool kid on the block with the coolest car in the world. I get that.
So as one time machinist to another, tell me about Doc Brown, how he would feel about his invention becoming so popular and all these people making replicas of it.
I think he'd be delighted. I know he'd like to see many more people be able to travel through time. We'd probably all be better off if we had a better understanding of the future and the past. It would make a lot of difference and maybe make it a better world.
I was visiting my parents, and while I was digging around in the basement, I found my father's high school yearbook. When I came back to California, I'm telling Bob Zemeckis about this. I'm saying, what if you could go back in time and end up going to high school with your dad? And he's going, oh, that's great. That was the inspiration. That's what it was that got us to Back to the Future. Well, the script called for a nuclear-powered DeLorean. So here we had these sketches. All right, how do you build the thing? We hired Kevin Pike and another guy named Mike Chaffee. Kevin was the overall visual effects supervisor, mechanical effects supervisor. And Michael was hired just to work on the DeLorean, just to work on the car.
I never realized that there would be so many people that would be interested in making that car. That's not an easy job. It's not some wires and some lights. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of thinking in the circuitry, and there's a lot of engineering for the design of the parts.
It's a funny thing. You'd think, oh, you throw a bunch of stuff together, whatever it is, that's what it is. But really, you have to be kind of careful to keep a rhythm of proportions, a sense of structure going. You want it to look on purpose.
The cars were brought to my shop in North Hollywood. I had about 10 to 15 guys that worked on it for approximately 10 weeks, and we turned out 3 cars. A and the B, full tilt boogie with everything on them.
There were guys all over that car, and they were all over it like ants on a sandwich. I mean, there were so many people working on that project, and they were all so skilled. When I see that people put these cars together, these replicas together, it's just staggering to me. They don't have a warehouse. They don't have the bills being paid by Universal. They don't have a crew of 15 people who are all like virtuoso welders, fabricators, makers of stuff. It's a labor of love, and it is amazing to me. It's amazing.
But boy, has it exploded. The people right now, they're just going crazy. I see people all the time with cars.
I really wanted to try hard to make it accurate as well as I could. The cars were built in Burbank using surplus from aircraft salvage.
The problem isn't finding cool stuff, it's finding the right cool stuff. These are capacitors. There's a couple of blue ones on the car. You know, when you walk in and see this kind of thing, you're like, problem solved. Until you you know, find out how inaccurate every single piece here is. You know, there's the right color, but not the right kind of color. The right kind of color, not the right size. You know, too short, too skinny, too fat, whatever. And let me tell you, I would never do this again. I end up being an expert on all this crap that, you know, I'll never need any of it ever again.
But these people are just incredibly intense, and it's a wonderful feeling that there are people that are still excited about it, that want to take the time and the money and the energy and have fun doing it.
The internet gives you this shield where you can just do stuff that you would never do in public if some guy could come up and smack you in the face for saying it.
It's easy to misunderstand people online, and you know, in my case, they're not misunderstanding me.
This is a hobby. It's a hobby, and you know they're fighting over the length of a capacitor, and it gets so heated. They're like, "I will kill you." You're like, "Really?"
Nobody has an idea I'm here. I flew in, I came right to the room, and I've been hiding out in here. He feels great because he knows I'm not going to be here, and I can't wait to see the look on his face when I come strolling. I've been sitting in here for what, 7 or 8 hours now. You know, watching TV on my computer on his website. That's the funny part about it. Reading his post about how everything's going great. It's just going to ruin his whole good time. And that's what I love about it, because he deserves it.
Well, at least they're not out robbing 7-Elevens.